Welcome, everyone, to ITD Gaming Appetizers. Today, we're going to talk about Total Rock Studio sees red, joins the Communist Party after being bought up by Tencent. Tencent bought up their subsidiary, their owner, basically, and now Tencent now owns Total Rock Studios. You might recognize that name if you're not too familiar with studios as the guys who recently put out Back for Blood. And, you know, they're the people behind the old Left 4 Dead series. So I don't really like this news too much. Tencent's too much in the, the government's back pocket of China. And they censor a lot of stuff and they do a lot of stuff that's not really what I would consider good practice for video games. You know, they do, like I said, they do way too much censoring and way too much propaganda stuff for me. I want my politics out of my video games. I don't care what region of country or world you're in. I don't want your politics or my own politics in video games. I'd rather them be politic free. So I'm a little disappointed in this news. But Nick, what do you think, man? What do you think about this news now that Tencent owns 100% of Total Rock?
Yeah, I'm not too happy about it either. I mean, Tencent seems to go around and buy a lot of companies, or put a lot of, buy a lot of stocks so they become majority or minority shareholders within these companies. And Tencent's been making a lot of moves these past few years, buying up a lot of studios and buying a lot of stock and injecting themselves into a lot of studios. So far, I haven't personally seen Tencent really inject anything into the games that the public or the developers that they've purchased. But, I guess for me, I really haven't been paying attention really as to who Tencent owns besides Turtle Rock. I know they own a lot of other, or have a majority stock in a lot of other game companies. So, I think I want to say they did buy PUBG a while back, and, PUBG created a mobile game, and we're talking a Chinese company, we're talking mobile mainly, right? The mobile adaptation of everything. Mobile's like huge over there, whereas over here, mobile's not as huge, right? I mean, there's probably a lot of people that do play mobile games. I'm not one of them, but I don't think it's as big of an industry here as it is maybe over in China. But they want to, I'm hoping that, and maybe there's already cases of this, but I'm hoping that Tencent doesn't go the route of what most like foreign companies do with games, where they just ingest a bunch of stuff that you don't want in it, right? Microtransactions, weird like time-based things, mobile stuff, things like that, and really, like you said, censor a bunch of stuff with there and kind of follow their agenda. Really, we don't want them follow. It's fine if they want to buy them just to give them money and let them produce games that make money for them. But if they're going to put their 10 cents into it, then we don't want it as gamers.
Yeah, they've done they own WeChat and some other stuff like that. There's been some controversies. There's some lawsuits out of California about them censoring stuff and things like that. So they're known to censor the stuff that they do, but as Nick said, they're buying up all kinds of crap. I mean, they've been in a buying frenzy for the last couple of years, like nobody's business. But as Nick pointed out, they partnered with PUBG and to do a mobile game. And that's a lot of what Tencent does. It's kind of interesting to see this huge Chinese conglomerate. I mean, they do way more than video games. Tencent does everything. I mean,
I think they have some movie studios as well, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, they have some automation. They have their own search engine stuff. They do mass media. They do music, payment systems, like Nick said, film production. They have online services, social networks. They have all kinds of crap. But a company like this, it's out of China and stuff like that with video games, when China is cracking down like nobody's business on video games, and then Tencent, they just see that the rest of the world is just eating up video games, and they're just, like Nick said, they're investing in a lot of companies. I mean, we were talking before this about they own 40% of like Epic Games and 80% of Grinding Gears games and 84% of Supercell. They own a lot of stuff, and they own Riot Games now and Funcom and some other stuff like that. And they do mostly mobile stuff. They got like a lot of minority stake in like a lot of really popular studios like Don't Nod and Bloober Team. They own minority stakes and shares in that stuff, and like Blue Hole, they own a minority. Just and Activision Blizzard, and Ubisoft and Paradox, I think are like less than 5% or less than 10% or something like that. But they own a majority stake in a good chunk of games too. Like I think they own like Miniclip. Remember those guys? I think they do a lot of the online games and stuff like that. I used to play a lot of the online games. You see the Miniclip logo. They own like majority share in them and stuff like that. So they own a lot of just a little bit of everything. And what worries me about that is that they can buy Turtle Rock, and if Turtle Rock dies, Tencent's not going to die. They own way too much, so they may push them in and be like, "We want you to make mobile versions of all this crap." And I'm like, God, I want to see more from them on the Back 4 Blood series. I want to see them make multiple Back 4 Bloods and content for it. I enjoyed the game, but it just depends on what Tencent does with them. I just don't trust this company because they're way too much political. They've made political video games. The Chinese government's given them money. It's too much for me. It's too much of a government-controlled entity, for me. They've got way too much controversy behind them, way too much, all that kind of crap. I can't remember, I saw an article, I can't remember how long ago by there was a bunch of uproar about them owning 40% of Epic, and all their human rights and stuff like that and censorship. And Epic's, what's his name? Tim. I can't remember his last name. Tim something. Came out and
Sweeney?
Yeah, Tim Sweeney. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Came out and was like, we will not let them censor our crap, not if I'm here. So he has to make a statement just so the people that own, and invest in Epic Games will be like, okay, we know Tencent owns 40% of your company through shares. They had to make a statement to say, we will not allow them to censor our games because everybody knows that they are big censorship. We got to censor what the government here in China doesn't like. Well, guys, most of these companies aren't all in China. They're all over the world. You just can't censor what you feel like you need to censor. But
right.
If the local governments want to do it, that sucks, but that's on them.
Yeah. It does, and if we see a Back 4 Blood mobile game here in the next year, then we know where it came from. If that's the next thing that Turtle Rock announces is the mobile version, then we know where that came from. But yeah, I don't like, and it's the same for like even here in the US. Like I don't like EA and Activision picking up all these studios and stuff, or even in some cases Microsoft and Sony. Right? I like more of the independent studios and the small publishers because we tend to get some of the best games out of those. Those bigger studios all they want is profit, so they just churn games out no matter how crappy they are. We get a Call of Duty every year, and every year that game seems to go down further and further. We get a Battlefield every 3 to 4 years, and well, we know how the current Battlefield is. It's crap compared to other alliterations, but that's also gone down. So, these big companies coming in and just purchasing all these little studios really sucks. I mean, think of Blizzard. Like once it got bought by Activision, like the route Blizzard has gone is just downhill. Like Blizzard's not the shining example of a game company that it used to be, right? We used to love anytime a Blizzard game come out. I mean, that was like the pinnacle of gaming. And now it's like, oh, Blizzard's making this. And like, yeah, they're going to screw that up too. That's all you can think of now. I mean, they brought out Diablo 2 remake, and from its launch, I mean, they're getting a little better with the patches, but from its launch, it was just a disaster. And that's just remaking an old game. Come on. So, will it turn that way with Tencent owning Turtle Rock? We'll just have to see. But, big companies such as that just buying up everything is never a good thing.
Right, because they very rarely leave that studio alone to do what they bought them for. I mean, it's hard to find a large corporation that will admit that when they bring in a company, that they just make them enter the fold, right? You're coming in, we bought you. You are going to adopt our philosophy, policy, and everything. And even though we bought you because of what you've done in your past, you're going to do what we say you do now, and you're going to continue to flourish when they usually don't flourish. I mean, if it's a perfect example, even though it's not the same company or anything, but Microsoft had that documentary that just recently come out. I don't know how many people have watched it, but they make a very valid comment about how they basically ruined Lionhead. We bought them because we liked what they did, but we tried to change them, and they basically, Lionhead's defunct. That should tell you something, So they screwed that.
Yeah.
They burned it to the ground, and it was their own fault. And they admitted it in this documentary. But like Tencent, when a company goes under, they're going to be like, oh, well, failed investment, move on. And you got so much
like
money.
EA and Activision, they have failed investments, and they just sweep them to the side and go, oh, well, let's go grab the next one. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, in the same sense, if you buy a company if they bought Turtle Rock because they like Back for Blood and what it is and what that company's producing, developing, making, then buy them and just let them continue doing that, because you're going to get sales. But if you start changing them and making them do certain things, if Tencent has a wide enough influence in the next Back for Blood, it ain't going to sell. And then next thing you know, Turtle Rock's being shuttered.
Right. Yeah. Because they're not making the money fast enough. They can't pump out Back for Blood Mobile, Back for Blood Switch, Back for Blood everything as fast as Tencent wants them to. I hope they leave them alone, but I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell, right?
That's true.
I like this studio. I like the Back for Blood. I mean, I was hyped for it. I mean, we literally, the three of us played this game and beat it in less than a few days' time. We played so much of it. I mean,
yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. And now they release new content. They're going to release some holiday content, and they're going to be some more content patches coming out. We'll be back,
Yeah, I'm ready for more story content and, other things like that to get in there, because I'm ready to play some more.
Right, yeah. I'm ready to see more what they can do. I really like the game, and hopefully, like I said, Tencent doesn't ruin them. Hopefully, they let them keep doing what they're doing, but they may not be content with that anymore, They like to do what they like to do. I mean, they have their own publishing arm, and I think their publishing arm even had something to do with the most recent GTFO. I think they helped publish that for them, but they don't own them or anything. They were just, I can't remember what it's like Levent or Level Infinite is what it is. I don't know. Level Infinite is what I'm pretty sure their publishing arm is for video games. So let's see what happens. That's all we can do is wait and see. I don't like this purchase at all, not one bit. Nick, you got anything else or any concerns outside of what we've already put on? I mean, they've done a lot of collaborations that they just publish, like GTFO and Vermintide and Dark Tide and Vampire the Masquerade. They helped publish that and stuff like that, but their development stuff, and to me, they've not developed a whole lot that I'm just like, I love what they've done from the word get-go. Most of the stuff I love that they've done is stuff the studios they bought already did before they owned them.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't really have much to say. I mean, time will tell, but hopefully this doesn't turn into a train wreck. That's the only thing.
Yep. If you're listening, Tencent, leave them alone. Let them do what they did. Let them do what you bought them to do. Yeah. All right. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think this 10-cent purchase of Turtle Rock Studios was a good idea? Or basically they bought Slamfire Inc., which is the parent company of Turtle Rock, and now that means they own Turtle Rock. So let us know what you guys think. You think it's a good purchase, a bad purchase? And let us know. Are you a fan of Turtle Rock game? Back for Blood. If you played it or not. So let us know. Make sure you like and subscribe and put some comments down there. We like to engage with everybody as we can. So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope to catch you in the next one.